Welcome back, everybody. In today's episode, we're going to be doing some wheel bearings and some brakes.
It's so nice out today. So I believe I stated in my last video, I went to do the front brakes on this. Well, I have brakes for, drilled and slotted rotors for all four corners as well as pads. But I went to do the brakes and I wanted to start on this side because this side's having unusual wear on the rotor. And it turns out it's actually wearing on the brake caliper bracket because the wheel bearing's bad. So I had to put everything back together with the stock stuff. And finally, my wheel bearings came in the mail. So we have two brand new front wheel bearings. So I'm gonna crack these bad boys open. We're gonna make sure it's the right thing. And then here's my front rotors for Gemma's front pads. Then here's the rear rotors and rear pads back there. So hoping to at least get the front done today. And yeah, let's dive right on in. All right, so nice and easy, got the wheel off. Also, for anybody that's let's say starting on cars or an amateur, if you will, because I definitely am not a master. Well, I'm a master, I'm not a master. Anywho's and say, let's just act like that. You guys didn't see that. Getting into basically any project with the car is usually more overwhelming than it seems, or that you know that you're planning on. So with that being said, I always try to stay as organized as possible before shit hits the fan, because once shit hits the fan and you get into a weird spot and you're kind of like jumbling around trying to still fix shit or figure something out, you lose a lot of stuff. You lose bolts, you lose hardware, you lose sockets, whatever. So I'm gonna take my lug nuts, I'm gonna put them in that, keep them off to the side. I'm gonna same with the impact socket, move everything, try to organize everything under the car. But figured I'd put that out there. So now, since we're here, I can pop off the two bolts, one here and then one at the bottom, to get the caliper off. And when I go to do this, I also need to use an adjustable wrench to hold on to that, that nut thing right there. And then that will let me pull the bolts out. And then the caliper can come off, and either you can suspend it off the suspension, or actually on the GTOs, it fits perfectly right back here into the other suspension pieces. So this will go there. And then you see those two big ass bolts down there. I believe it's a 3/4. Yeah, we've got a 3/4. And then we'll have to pop both of those off. Those are usually pretty damn tight. And then once we're there, the rotor slips off and we get to the bearing. All right, sorry to crack these loose, but like I said, just run the 12 out using the crescent wrench, or the crescent wrench? Yeah, I guess the crescent wrench, adjustable, whatever you want to call it. It's like your holder for the nut. Boom. We've got two of these holding the actual main caliper to its bracket. Right over there. Yeah. A little too tight for hand loosening, but second one out, and then boom, caliper slides right off. And you don't want to hurt this, the brake fluid line, because it is soft line. So that's why you need to either suspend this or support it, because if this thing falls and you have it hanging on it, you're not going to have a fun day turning into a brake line job and brake bleeding. But see, caliper sits perfect there. I can actually beat on the car pretty good, and it's not going to go anywhere. So now we're here. The pads slide right out. And funny enough, these pads actually still have pretty decent, not decent, but they have life left on them, So with that being said, I'm actually going to put all of these into the new parts boxes and hold on to all this stuff. God forbid something ever happens where I need something in a pinch, or if I manage to get my hands on another GTO, which at some point in time probably will happen. So now that's all off. And then we look on in, we got the two big boy bolts. Oh, that's big. All right, so since these are still really tight, or I guess I tightened them up really good last time, I'm gonna take my jack handle and use that as some leverage to pop these. Cracks with these. Top one. All right. Jack handle always comes in clutch, for those who don't know. Now just blast these big bolts out, and then the caliper bracket's off. And boom. And there's your caliper bracket. Actually, I still have the slider pins in here. There's the slider pins. You have to re-grease these every time they go in. My new brake kit actually came with the new rubbers because these are destroyed, so that's good. And then these clips, usually it's a pretty good practice to install new ones. So that's that. So we'll put that off to the side, put that right there, and boom. Rotor comes off, and now you have removed your brakes. All right, so this might be a little hard to see on camera, but this see that you can see the movement to it. So that's not good. If you actually look, it wobbles while spinning. Very unfortunate, because this is a job I didn't really look forward to doing. So now that we're here, this does look to be the same as the one I have. So I am gonna pop this off regardless. I do need to change this, even if it is the wrong one, I can figure something out. But now we have 3 10mm hex head bolts. So there's one right there. Oh my God, you guys look at that, I'm so sorry. You got one there, oh, extension on the run. You got one there, the one up top. Yeah, I believe there's one, yep, right down there. So I know that these aren't going to be fun to do, but you know, obviously we'll make do. And in the one video I watched, if I remember, I'll link it. The guy pulled out this bottom strut bolt, you know, the strut bolt and the nut on the backside. And what that does is that gave him the room to actually get like an extension in here to break this one free. So we're gonna give it a shot at trying to get these out, and hope we don't break or strip anything, because then I'm going to give up on life. Alrighty, I'm out of breath, but this is actually going a lot better than expected. So, oh, I only got a little boo-boo on my finger. You know, it's funny because my middle finger is burning on the knuckle, like I hurt that one, but I guess I don't know. So, like I said, these are 10mm hex heads, so like Allen key bolts, right? So the only one that I was really worried about was this one, because the bolt being here for the strut, I could not get this bolt to crack. So I probably could have tried the nut on the backside, and I probably could just hook up my air impact and blast these off. I didn't bother. So what I actually did was I got kind of lucky, and it seems like the Allen headset that I bought, it's Husky. It's from Home Depot. I think it was like 25 bucks. It comes, you know, with like 5 or maybe like 7 Allen heads for a 3/8 drive socket or a 3/8 drive ratchet. So basically, when this bolt is, you know, all the way in here, and if you leave this bolt here, this just barely touches, you know, the end of the chrome just barely touches the head of the bolt. So you're actually able to put this in, you know, the Allen head in, and kind of just snake it in and actually lock in firmly. You can crack it loose, do a couple turns out, run it right back in, and obviously not crank tighten it, but you know, basically put it back, you know, so it's flush in here, and then you're able to, you know, just pop this thing right back out. And thankfully I actually already had in my drawer a old piece of shit 10mm, you know, Allen key basically. So so for now, for this one, I'll be running it out with this, and I don't care if it's more time consuming. It beats me trying to break this bolt out and possibly breaking this and causing more problems. But got this one loose. The bottom one was no problem. And then this side one was actually kind of a pain in the ass. I actually used this with a hammer, or my, you know, my sand mallet, to crack it. And then from there I was using the ratchet, because this one is by far the tightest. The rest of them are actually not too bad. So now I'm just gonna run these out. I'll show you what they look like after. And then we're gonna have fun prying the, you know, the hub off of the spindle, I guess this is. All right, so I've got all 3 bolts out, and you know, they're all the way out because you can actually, seems like it just slides through, and maybe there's a thread or 2 here or a stopper, I don't really know. But I have them out of the actual hub and the wheel bearing itself. So now, from factory, these cars actually have like these slits here that you can, you know, very gently pry off of. So I'm gonna go between these. There's probably one on the bottom as well. So I'm just gonna try to evenly basically wiggle this thing off, break it free, And yeah, we'll see how messed up this thing really is. All right, so this actually just came out really easy. This is kind of scaring me how easy this is, but I just used my little baby pry bar, right? And just gently hammered it into the slot here, and like I said, there is a slot actually on the bottom, right by the other bolt. And basically just, tapped it in with my sand hammer, because, swinging that's actually easier than trying to swing that thing. And just from this going in, just off the design that this gets, it's thin and it gets thicker and thicker. Just from tapping this in, it actually popped this thing off, very easily. And then all the way on the back, we have one ABS sensor back there. So I'll pop the ABS sensor off, and this thing's gonna drop right out. Got the ABS sensor out. Again, came off really easy. Now, we have our wheel bearing. So I'll show you guys zoomed up, but you can actually see where the grease came out of this thing. Oh wow, that's got a lot of movement to it. Holy shit. Yeah, it's probably a good thing that I'm doing this. And then I guess this whole surface in here I'll be cleaning up and slapping the new one on. We'll be ready to go. Okay, I'm definitely wearing all of the proper safety things. I don't recommend anybody does this because, like I said, I am a master mechanic. So, yeah, I definitely want to clean up the mating surface. And I'm going to try to clean up in here. I might have to actually use some sandpaper on the inside since this doesn't really want to fit. And I don't feel like this thing kicking out. So I would like to clean up the mating surface there just so it's got a nice, clean fit. And so the front surface is actually cleaned up pretty damn nice. There is some spots like down here where it's actually, heavily pitted. So I don't think that might be like where the cutouts are. Like see how the sides are like rounded off. I think that's what that is. So yeah, I don't think that really matters, but definitely gonna take some sandpaper, clean up the inside of here. And then I definitely want to clean up around this dowel pin as well. Like I said, I want a really smooth, clean install, and I want it to be nice. I want it to just work. These sections, here, and here don't really matter since that's where the like your pry bar goes. I would love to paint everything while I'm in here because this all looks like shit. I figure at some point in time though, I will be back here. I'm definitely gonna have to do new struts and springs and all that kind of shit, and tie rods and all, everything's gonna get replaced at some point or another. So I'm not worried about making the underneath of this car beautiful at this moment because there's kind of no point. And this is more so just a, I need to get this done to, drive. So, alrighty, had to take a little trip to the store and I just got some Thread Locker orange. I didn't know they made orange. I thought they only had red and blue. These have red on them. They did have red on them. So, I don't know. I'm gonna try out the orange. So if I stop uploading videos at some point, or if I do post that I wrecked the car, then don't use Thread Locker orange on your wheel bearings. But I read on a website, or like forums for GTOs, people were saying just to use blue on these. So I figure I'll step it up to the high strength, but not the highest strength, and I'll try the orange out. So that's that. Like I said, I cleaned up the surface. I actually went and I did buy another can of brake clean. So I do have another one for brakes. This one's basically just about full. I already had it laying around. So clean up the surface. I don't know if it's bad of me to do. I think I'm gonna leave this surface a little, with the assembly like oil on it, just so it doesn't like, I don't know, rust immediately. It's not like this is gonna be spinning. This actually spins. So, and this one's nice and crispy. Obviously got the ABS sensor. It's the same plug, it's a little 2-prong. So, yeah, let's slap this bad boy in. Okay, I circumcised this thing. I'm definitely gonna get demonetized, but it's okay, people, it's okay. I'm just gonna do a drop. Oh, that's more than a drop. And a drop. That'll spread itself through the threads, and it'll do what it needs to do. So now, very gently and carefully, I guess I'm just gonna line up the ABS sensor. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Oh, wow. That fits right in. Okay. Okay, top bolt started. Guess I'll gently run all these in, little by little, all the way around. Make sure everything spreads evenly and goes in as it should. I'm actually amazed that went on so easy. Maybe it's because I cleaned out the mating surface. I don't know, but I like it. Alrighty, so I got the 3 10 mil bolts in. This thing feels awesome. It's solid. I put the orange thread locker, I think I already showed that, and then I torqued them down to 80 foot-pounds according to forums and like the GM manual on replacing wheel bearings. So I had to use a combination of my dumbass only bought a 3/8 Allen socket thing, 10 mil. So I made this up. It goes from 1/2 inch to 3/8. I made this thing up a while ago. I was taking flywheel bolts off a small block Chevy, I believe. So ain't pretty, but it gets the job done. So this comes to good use again. So use that, use this, and then with one of the bolts or 2 of the bolts, I had to use an extension. Some of them I didn't, but I was able to work my way around these 3, and yeah. Alrighty, so after getting the 3 bolts on the hub torque down, now got to slap the my front pass side rotor on. So obviously this won't sit all the way on. Sit all the way on until we throw the caliper bracket on. So that is next on the list. All right, so got the 2 big ass bolts back here. I threw on another drippy drip of that orange thread locker. So threw a little drippy drip on each of those. Those used to have blue Loctite on them, and online says I think it was like 60 foot-pounds or 52 foot-pounds. So I think I set them to 65 because I don't want them coming off. But look how crispy! Oh, look at that! Look at that! What do you think?
It's crispy.
It's pretty crispy.
It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not bad, not bad. So, all right, next up, we need to decompress the pistons in the caliper and slap on some pads and clips. So this is my my little rinky-dink decompression tool, if you will. So I just have this little, I don't know, 2x2 square of metal and a little C-clamp. It's on a flat surface back here, so that's good. And that's there. And you can watch. You can watch here. And you want to go slowly. You don't want to like crank this thing in super quick. I'm pretty sure that will hurt the hurt your system. Let's go slowly. Nobody's in a rush here. We're just compressing this in so that when we put the new pads on, everything will fit nicely. All right, that's that. That's one done. Now I'll do the second. Okay, so you can see the difference of how far you need her to come in. So now I'll do the same thing over here. All right, so with the new brakes, I think I mentioned earlier that my slider pins, A, there ain't no grease left in there, and B, the rubber is actually a little shitty. So to ensure a better seal, the brake kit I got actually comes with all new little rubbers. They come with new rubbers. So yeah, stop it. So before I brake clean the absolute living hell out of the rotor and then put the pads into the caliper and the clips and whatnot, I need to re-grease and put new rubbers on my slider pins. So I cleaned this one off and I put the new rubber piece on it. That's what it looks like now, right? The old rubber, no, that's a new one. Okay, no. You can see the old one here, it's all torn up and whatnot. It's gonna allow grease to come out and allow a lot of shit to go in. So no bueno, no bueno. So here's what the other one looks like. And honestly, these have like no grease on them. My guess is because they've been leaking. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop off. Oh my God, this one's on there. The other one was completely off. All right, so slip that off, put it in the garbage pile, clean this thing off a little bit. Just a little bit. Look at that guy. Show that in the video, bro. He's right, no hands. No hands. It's crazy. Wish I had the coordination for that. I can't do that shit. Alright, so clean. All right. So take the new rubber, pinch the top of it. Oh, can't do it with gloves on. Hold on. Wait. Boom. All right. So what you want to do is you want to extend the rubber out like this. Make a little hat, right? Slip that in. And now if you look on there, there's a little lip that it needs to grab onto. So what I've been doing, very gently, take a flathead, and you pry, and very gently get it up to catch, pinch it with your finger there, and you work your way around it like a tire machine. So you get it seated all the way around, right? And then you just compress, just compress it back and it looks like that. And now, with the provided lube, this actually didn't come with the lube, but I had this from a different brake job I did. And I basically just smother this in lube and you slip it back into the caliper bracket. And then since we're done dealing with grease after this, we're ready to degrease everything, throw the clips on, throw the pads on, and send her. This is pretty thick grease. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty thick lube. It's pretty thick lube. I think what I am going to do, I'm just gonna put that there. I think I'm gonna shovel some into the rubber. Because nobody likes dry rubber. Do you like dry rubber, Audrey? No? Okay. She shook her head no for those who didn't see. Slip that up and shove this down, and SpongeBob says bring it around town. Alright, we got some grease in there. And we'll take it, we'll slip it into the hole. You hear her mushing up. And then now, there's also another spot. Let me see the thing. Show you up close. So now up here, oh, you were zoomed in. Oh my God. All right. So you can see here where I just slipped this in, right? You can see it wants to, obviously go in. So this lip right here, I will use the same screwdriver method and pop that onto the bracket. And then this will basically be, oh yeah. Yeah, so we just need to get this onto the lip, and then that's good for the slider pins. So my assistant actually canceled on me. She just left, so because she needs to take a nap, But anywhoosins, now I have both slider pins in, all greased up, full of lube, snapped onto this. So everything here is basically ready to be finished. Before I do my clips and pads, I'm going to spray the absolute living shit out of the rotor with brake clean. I figured I wanted to take care of this first so that if I did get any grease smudges on here, I could clean them off now. I'd rather not clean it and then have to clean it again. So I'm gonna be using my shop towels because they're low lint or like no lint. Love those things. Honestly, I would put them inside the house if I had rain of it, but my mother probably wouldn't approve. I think brake clean, brake clean front and rear. You don't really have to worry about this area because it's, this isn't being used for the braking. Obviously that sort of, the face of the rotor actually is. And for anybody that doesn't know, if you don't take the 2 seconds to actually clean, this area in the back, from factory or, from whatever place rotors and shit are made, they actually come with a little bit of like a assembly lube or like an assembly oil on them so that they don't rust just sitting in their bags. So with that being said, obviously if you have rotor, if you have oil on your rotor and then you put your pads on, your pads have nothing to actually, friction and grip to. So just clean your shit. So that's good. And now I shall take one clip. That's gonna go right there. And then my second clip is going to go up, it's gonna take a little persuasion. It did for the bottom because I popped it in before this. Oh, and my light's dead. So this will, that pops right up into there. Alrighty, so I just slipped the rear pad on. That one goes on first. And then now we'll be taking the front pad, which will be going on this orientation, and I don't think it's on normal. I don't think all cars have it, but I guess it's like the GTO style. It'll have this clip that goes across the back, which I guess kind of hooks onto the rear one, and then this clip that goes on the front, and the caliper actually goes into this clip, and I guess that holds this outer pad to the caliper. I don't know, kind of cool. It's different. I don't know. It's been a little while since I've done brakes. So now this will go into here, just like that. You can see she sits on nicely. She looks all good, nice and full. Push them all the way. All right. So now, and mind you, this whole time I have not touched the face of the rotors. Not trying to put any more oils on it. My hands are definitely cleaner than the gloves that I was working with are, especially with all the rust and all the old grease. So now that's all good. Now we take our caliper and it's upside down. No, I don't think so. Well, that's a tight fucking squeeze, eh? God damn. Haha. Oh, I think my slider pins weren't in all the way. Now, all right, we'll slap a bolt. Ooh. And it looks like these bolts. Oh my god. Oh, I'm getting a trolley horse. Oh my god. These bolts also had blue on them, so I'll do a very small dabble of orange, just as you know, something, I guess. That will go in at one on the top. A little dabble, never hurt nobody. There we go. Alrighty, now I'm just gonna crank those two bolts down, and we're done on this side. The passenger and driver side are different, so everything online lied to me. Apparently they are side specific, and that makes me very, very sad. So, shit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth me just returning this one, or if I should try to split the ABS, you know, back cover off. I don't know if that's gonna mess up the bearing. Love it.